What does the Moon Man taste like?
What the fuck? Oh,
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're okay.
We do it like Nerdist. We start.
I thought like podcasts always just start like with an ad at the top, like WTF does.
Audible.
Yeah.
Nobody gives us anything. So
Stamps.com.
Nobody.
there's none of that. There's none of that around here.
We're not
Okay.
there yet.
No one asked for this. we just give it to people.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about envelopes.net.
Yeah.
You got the stamps.
So we got a lot of great content coming up. First, real quick, do you want to listen to this Reasonable Beef? Visit Patreon and give it money.
That's our ad.
Yeah,
Good.
Do you
What
want?
does the Moon Man taste like?
I didn't get a trophy or anything.
What?
at
What?
Are you going to?
Then what is the
do you
award?
need to give like a setup as to who I am? Because
No.
nobody knows who the fuck I am.
Hey, Eric, why don't you let me direct my own show?
Okay.
Want to go ahead? Tell me about. So you don't actually get an award? It's just like a concept.
So I was nominated for a technical VMA,
Okay.
which I knew going in. that-
Technically, I want a VMA.
Yeah, exactly. So I knew I wasn't going to be. They told me in the email with all the thing, like, we don't hand out every award on the telecast, but we'd love to have you. Okay, great. And I knew going in. I mean, especially because like I'll be honest, MTV VMA ratings have been declining a lot recently. They very much survive on the fact that something is going to happen. Something.
I mean, you were there this year, so there.
Wearing shit.
And I would have made something.
And your
happen.
shirt said ass. They should have put you on
All
TV.
right. My
dude.
shirt said Massa's Tavern, which is a reference to the associate producer of Tom Sharpling's The Best Show.
Definitely, but you realize that your blazer made it said ass haver. Right? It actually said ass aver. Like your
Ass
English.
Ave. I think it was Ass Ave in that photo.
Wait, that wasn't on purpose?
No, not at all.
Oh, Ben, come on!
No, I know.
That would have been a great
I know,
bit.
you were
Perfect bit, but
Pulling a great gag there.
no, yeah, I know, right? I want to respect the AP Mike brand very much, though.
Okay.
Well, that's very cool.
So I unbuttoned my jacket
And
for
I'm
the rest
not
of
trying
the
to be
night.
executed by Viacom black suits. They just take me out and drop me into the goddamn ocean. That's the end of it. Oh, man.
Sorry, I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
You sound a little sick. Sound a little under the weather.
Am I sick?
Let's loosen up. Welcome to
Boy.
Lock
the gates. Okay. I'm done with this bit. Welcome, Reasonable Beef. Hey, everybody. My name is Tim E. Kish. I'm joined, as always, by...
Oh, that's me, Dom.
And joining us today is... Who?
Eric Degliomini.
Eric Degliomini. Eric won a fucking VMA last night. Eric is a guy I know from the internet.
Yes.
Film Cow.
He's funny. Yeah, we met through the Film Cow forums.
The Film Cow forums.
It's, an old
I was
forum
debating
buddy.
posting on there.
What, just to say...
Yeah.
Guys, I want to fucking
No, nobody
No one there is-
left.
We don't know
There's
anyone
like,
there.
I think it's just a bunch of kids that are on their Minecraft server.
Right.
I'd like to take this time to let everybody know I, Frankenstein is on DVD and Blu-ray now. I, Frankenstein,
Wow.
DVD and
Second
Blu-ray
time
now.
We've cut into Blue
Go
Frankenstein.
get it.
Blue Frankenstein.
If you buy enough of the DVD, who knows? Maybe it won't be a bomb.
That is the bit that we've been doing recently, where you just like
Blue
Nick
Goku.
did the thing today where he said like, I've got an idea. It's called Blue Spider-Man. It's a totally different film.
He's got a different suit.
Yeah, because Dragon Ball now has Super Saiyan Blue
Yeah.
or Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan,
yes.
and it's like, this is the most toy sellingest shit I've ever seen in my whole life. I'm waiting for. He's got element powers now. He's the fucking.
Super Saiyan chocolate.
I'm done.
Wait, hold on. I meant like his hair turns into chocolate.
Super
I didn't mean,
Saiyan
like,
Mocha. Yeah. Fuck, we saw Death Note.
yeah, what the fuck are we doing?
Speaking of
What the
anime
fuck?
and weebs, we saw we saw Death Note 2017, Adam Wingard, Netflix produced film, $40 million budget, starring Nat Turner, Keith Thomas. What's his last name?
I want to say Stanton.
Stanton? Oh, he's good. Willem Dafoe is in it. That Shay, whatever his name, the character actor from Fargo, the eternal cop. That guy is always a cop. The character plays his dad. What do you guys think?
Dude, I liked it. I can say liked it pretty confidently.
Yeah,
I don't think I could look you in the like. I don't think I could ever be like, it's such a like it's an achievement and it's everything an adaptation should be and blah blah blah. But like, I don't know, man.
This did not. Well, the thing I don't even know if it's just because I don't think it deserves the ire that it's getting.
No, definitely.
This is so much its own thing. People are like, there was an article today on Polygon that says everything wrong with Death Note in one scene, and it's the scene when Ryuk shows up and he's freaking out and doing that like girly scream and running around. I'm like, do you guys not get that this is a black comedy?
Make it fun.
Like, do you not understand?
And that's fine.
What's going on here?
Because I can understand. Again, we hovered around this with Dark Tower, where it's like you're allowed to be disappointed because you thought it would be closer to this thing that you love,
right?
But I don't know.
Completely take it as what it is, because I'm not.
It's asking a lot of people.
I'm not going to defend the script. Just off the top, just to kind of break this down into a syllabus. I don't want to defend the script because I genuinely think that the script needs work. Because what they're actually saying kind of sucks. The way they're saying it does not suck. And the visual styling in the movie is great. I love Adam Wingard's visual style. Music choices were solid. The comedy lands like most of the time. Is this a good adaptation of Death Note? Probably not. But as like adapting the concept, I think it did a great job. Like Death Note is a very kind of niche thing for niche people who understand nuances of like anime and shit like that. And this isn't that, and that's fine. I don't know. What do you think, Eric?
I think what happened in New York was a tragedy, and Poseidon needs to pay the price.
What the fuck? Okay. Are we gonna? Am I gonna give you shit for saying tragedy, or are we just gonna? We're just gonna proceed forward. Anyway, okay.
I didn't really like it.
Okay.
I don't really feel strongly about not liking it. It just sort of felt boring, bland, and I understand that people. It's weird hearing because you've seen the anime, Tim. Dom has not, correct?
No, I've read the first like two in high school. The
manga, yeah. I've read the manga. I've watched the anime. I've seen the two movies.
I absolutely get why somebody that doesn't have that reference to the anime in the back of their head being able to enjoy it a little bit more.
Sure.
But while watching it, for me, it felt very tonally indecisive about whether or not it wanted to separate itself from the source material or not.
That's
true.
true.
That ended up giving me the feeling of why are they leaving it in L having this weird posture and liking sweets but not being a very collected detective?
I think maybe I just hate Death Note at this point. Like, I've seen that story told. I've read the manga. I've watched the whole anime.
Yeah.
I've seen both of the movies. I've seen how this plays out, and maybe just like having this refreshing take on it really meant something to me.
Here's the number one question. Why did they do this? And that's me. This is me saying as someone who liked it, who had who enjoyed watching it. Like, but I like it begs the question when you definitely see so many people who are like fans of it who are like, this is wrong. I'm not responding to this shit at all. It just makes me think, because it's like you're saying, they obviously weren't trying to get too far away from it. He was trying to adapt it. He was trying to keep the soul of whatever it was and whatever he liked about it, whatever textures he liked about it. But then sort of not. Then they were also, because it was like the thing of you're sort of making fun of it, but you're also sort of doing it sincerely.
Sure.
And you're also changing so much about it that at the end of that, and this again, I liked it, but then I like when I see all those pieces together and I think of how they got to that point and how they constructed it, was there never a question of like, wait, why are we doing that? Like,
what? Why are we doing
this? Yeah, why not? It's like I think you said to me before too. You were like, why couldn't this have just been a kid in Seattle just gets the death note, or like finds it. I don't know
Yeah,
if they just
like a different Death Note story.
Yeah,
doing the thing.
I want to go into something that you posted online, Tim, because that I remember you seeing, because going into like the casting of it a little bit.
All right, so let's address the whitewashing off the top.
Well, so this is where it gets confusing. This is why stuff like that, like this is just on the casting thing. It's confusing in that it almost feels like. And this was one of those movies we talked about a lot in all the promotional stuff for it. I was so annoyed by everybody's reaction to it. Mm-hmm. It was like one of the first times I was actively frustrated at all the fan things of like, he doesn't look the right way, he doesn't sound the right way, and he would never say that. And it's like, well, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who cares? You don't know what this is yet. But then my other side of my brain goes, well, then why name him Light? Why do that?
Yeah.
Why call him L?
Exactly.
Why do like if it's gonna just be completely different people, you're kind of inviting the challenge of this. These are not the people you know by naming them the same shit. And yeah, sure, he's Turner, but like
that's
I
very
don't know.
true.
It's like
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, I almost feel like it was doomed to fail because it launched with a bunch of controversy around people not liking the casting or whitewashing the casting, and I believe I know what part you're talking about. Yeah, I said it a couple of months ago of it. It's not ridiculous that he's not an Asian person. Like,
yeah, no.
Doesn't it make sense to make him a hoity-toity rich kid from Seattle and have Elle be a black orphan?
Yes, that is
like,
exactly.
Are we not making better commentary?
I wanted to see.
Yeah,
I wanted to see like a little bit of class.
Yeah, exactly.
In there. And that's what I was kind of that was the one thing I was really holding out for,
but it wasn't there.
But because when I saw, let me pivot back to Dom, because I feel Dom's been a little left out.
Oh,
there's a shot where Elle is giving a press conference in front of a police station. Mm-hmm. And the thing very central to this character in the anime is that he is never seen in public. He could look like anything.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who he is. Right. He is this super detective. He solves so many crimes. Nobody knows what he looks like. And in reality, he's just kind of a dweeby looking 25-year-old savant.
Right.
And in this one, he has a tough-looking mask, giving a press conference outside of a police station with a giant American flag in the background. Hey, Dom, you know what other movie had a famous, beloved character ruined by jumping in front of a giant American flag?
Don't do this to me. Don't bring this up.
Well, okay.
Don't bring me here.
That's where I'm coming from, Dom.
There's so much in this movie.
That's where it's coming from.
But the whole movie is visual motif overload. The first time we see Elle, the words Kira's justice or a justice of Kira is against the wall, and Light's head stands up and he blocks of Kira, and it just says justice next to his head. And it's like, okay, that's on the nose, but Wingard is also just like a hyper visual filmmaker who does shit like that. And I like that. I don't think that it is undermining the character of Elle, but also no one's is put together. Like, Light decides that he's done with the Death Note about 40% of the way through the movie, and the rest of it is him trying to get the fuck out of the situation. Yeah. And Elle loses his shit like because of the Watari thing, like, and it's all a misunderstanding. I really like how human and not anime they've made these fucking characters.
And I would have been able to buy that too a little bit better if it wasn't set up the way the anime was. And that's what I mean by like the first 20 minutes.
I see what you mean.
And that's what I mean by this. And that's why like the indecisiveness kind of bored me and didn't grip me.
It was a tall order, man. This was like the checklist on this was like weird. It's a weird one to go about. Because even from step one, all right, we're setting it in America, in Seattle. Like instantly, then that's why all these questions are up in the air. And that's why when they were like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be Nat Wolff, you're kind of like, And it just to me, I just keeps making me beg the question. Well, then like, why? I don't know why.
Has everybody in here seen Riverdale?
Yeah.
Or
I've heard it. Yeah, I've seen the clips.
Cole Sprouse is doing Jughead, like very much inspired by Elle from this. Like he's posted on Twitter on that. And when I saw them, like, it should have been him. It should have absolutely
liked
been.
it.
I would have
Cole
loved
Sprouse
it.
L.
I would have liked to see a Cole Sprouse
It would have
L.
been interesting, but I think that the guy who played L. I think he did a pretty cool job. This is such
cool.
it is cool.
I like the guy. Yeah,
I see what you're saying about how they cut out the L shit pretty quickly and get to the game of cat and mouse pretty much within the first 20 minutes of the movie, 30 minutes of the movie, and that's the best part of the manga, and they don't do it all the way through in the movie. But that's also like an adaptation thing. Put that out of your mind for just a second.
Okay.
And it works as a fine young adult horror movie with a cool hook, with great visual style, with great music, with good performances, and it's kind of funny and silly while being gruesome at the same time. It's a fucking fun Netflix movie, not a 40% on Metacritic. Like, I don't know what the...
Yeah, it's getting...
I'd say maybe a 60 for me in my mind.
Yeah, I feel the same way. About 60 or 70. I fucks with that.
I understand. I think I'm maybe even, this is the first, as we're saying this stuff out loud, I'm maybe more understanding people's side of it, because it is at the end of the day based on a thing that people
bringing everybody down. I love
No,
it.
it's
That's what it's all about. It's all about reasonable fucking beef, baby.
here, because I understand that feeling. Because how could you not? It's like, like I said, it's inviting you to compare it. Because why wouldn't it be? It's called Death Note.
Yes,
It's got the same characters.
Yes.
You're going to compare it. But then I, on the flip side of that, get annoyed at the complete, because it is pretty fucking different, and it feels different almost instantly in the music and in the everything, the way it looks, and in the way the kid looks, and in there's bullies, and like, all right, it's as you said, we're doing this teen movie where it's like a teen couple fucking and getting into trouble,
right?
And there's going to be some heads exploding, and here we go, America, boy,
Bonnie and Clyde.
You can cut that.
No. It's staying in.
I don't know. So I wish more of these people who are having such a hardcore, adamant react, because there gets to be a line when you realize, okay, this is so far removed from the thing that it's based on, that you're going to need to eat for your own sanity. Either, just completely write it off and be like, I don't think it's justifiable to say it sucks because it doesn't meet what you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
It's, again, allowed to be bummed out and say why do it that way. But as just a movie, if someone who had zero idea what Death Note was just watched the movie, if I had zero idea what Death Note was and I turned that on and had nothing, I didn't even know what they looked like, I didn't know it was, for all I knew, it was also set in America in the anime, I would have been like, this is fucking sick. This is so cool.
I was saying the same thing. I'm like, if this wasn't an adaptation, this would be a cult classic of a movie. People would dig this.
Because it's weird as shit. It's a weird
I
little
see that,
movie.
and I
Let's be
absolutely
real.
get why people going in this totally blind are enjoying it a little bit more.
It should have been a Dane miniseries, is what I think. I think this should have been 6 episodes. I think
It would have been so much easier to adapt it as a miniseries because the show worked so well, because it's a game of cat and mouse. You have things that you could have a little arc in each episode.
And I mean, they introduced that Light is smart, but he's not the fucking like super genius by shonen god that he is in the manga. And I
that's people
thought
have
that that's
beef
just
with that.
because why? Because
same.
If you're gonna make it a game of cat, like that works perfect for shortening the scope of the movie. If you want to bring the scope of the movie tighter, you make one of the characters, I don't know, maybe not the fucking smartest man in the world. Like that's a complex character trait to give to somebody and then write around.
You would have to equate the idea of having a god complex to more of an American norm.
Yeah.
Because that's what that Light character was in a Japanese society.
Sure.
It's somebody with a gigantic ego and god complex, so you need to...
And again, someone who represents class, where he's in the best schools, he's the top cop, he's the fucking guy, he's the
That's
number
why I'd
one.
almost like,
friends.
there's a way to do where he's the smartest fucking kid ever, and then it's ultimately the ego thing. It's ultimately
He does math homework for everyone. He's real smart.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just again. I feel like I'm talking in circles, because every time I feel like I want to make a point, I keep going back to, well, why? Like, why did they do that?
Then why? I mean, I think we said a similar thing for Ghost in the Shell, where it's just like. But at the same time, Ghost in the Shell is not a great action movie as well as a bad adaptation. This is like a fun kind of like YA thriller.
But Ghost in the Shell wasted so much. I mean, this wasted time a little bit. I think Ghost in the Shell wasted so much why did we need to see how Bato got his eyes?
Sure. It's also like a polar opposite too, whereas Ghost in the Shell is significant for its visual splendor and the writing is okay. So they just kind of shit on the visual, like the visual, they didn't capture the visuals, whereas this is the writing was the meat, and the visuals are kind of whatever.
Yeah.
And this movie was all about the visuals.
I thought it was like
that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the manga was like Oba and Obata are not flashy artists. Like they do good character designs, but there's not like shit like constantly blowing up.
Right.
This was very stylistic and not manga, not Japanese inspired at all. And I dug the shit out of that. That was not my original point. I just went on a total tangent, but I like the movie.
And I think I want to go on to like that visual style a little bit and sort of what's iconic. I feel like a red flag for me and some other people might have been so much of the marketing around this movie was around Willem Dafoe's Ryuk, which was definitely a highlight of the movie.
Yeah.
I think that's unanimous across the board. But that's not supposed to be a very deep character at all. That is supernatural flavoring to the thing.
That is my new favorite phrase of all time. Just a little supernatural flavoring.
That's why I said it's weird, and you that's why as I was watching this, it was so fun to pretend that it wasn't based on something else. It was the most fun shit in the world because you were like, if I was just seeing this, I would have zero idea. In fact, I'd probably have a problem with it, but would like it because it's weird as shit of there being also a monster.
Yeah.
Like, do you know you kind of know what I mean? Like, because you're thinking the device is the book. He writes a name down, the person dies the way he says it.
Yeah.
You kind of don't need also a spooky goblin in the corner being like, fucking do it. It's already there.
And actually, that's kind of that's another point I wanted to make, where if you want to talk about the manga and the movie, a huge important part of the manga is that Rook's in the death world. He's like, oh, fuck. Oops, I dropped my book in the hole to the man's world. I hope nobody picks it up. And he just kind of shrugs and laughs, and he hangs out and sees what the fuck happens. Where in this, he literally hands Light a pen. Literally puts it in his hand. And it's like, well, that kind of takes away Light's culpability in the whole thing, because he's not going for it. He in fact says, nah. He says no. He wants to walk away, and it's like, doesn't that kind of make Ryuk the bad guy? And he shouldn't be the bad guy.
They're repurposing him for this thing, because that was kind of how you said.
But not only because it makes him the bad guy, but also Light's the bad guy in the movie somehow. Like, who's the bad guy?
This is the indecisiveness that I felt.
That's fair.
I see what I'm like. Yeah, it's not a perfect movie. I don't think anybody's willing to say it's a perfect movie. I think Adam Wingard did a good job with that script that he was given by the Immortals guys who, whatever.
I want to get into this YA thing too, but for 1 second, there is something I want to sing its praises on, and I literally, you know this.
I like the way it looked. Yeah.
Yes.
We singing praises.
Yes.
Oh, come on, guys! I expect that to get a little bit of a pop. I did a whole singing bit. I smiled.
My instinct was to do physical dead face comedy bit, but I realized again audio here, so I probably should have.
Go, no problem. Physical dead face. That was my nickname in high school.
Did you guys miss when I said Death Nut by accident a little while ago?
He whose name is written on the death nut. There's no space here. No fucking.
So, okay. First thing that I dug, and in all movies, when they boil down central conflicts to one back and forth in a argument scene, that shit gets my rocks blasting through the walls.
What's your?
So in this one, when Elle and Light were sitting across from each other, and all it was, and this might be a line in the thing for all I fucking know, but Elle says, "I wonder if Kira." If a man killed 400 people, do you think Kira would forgive him? And he's like talking to him, and he's talking about this thing that he's created. I love that shit because that's the whole thing, right? Oh, so does he become a bad guy? Right. But I like that wording. So that stuff that works for me. Yeah, when they can do that. And that scene was fun too. It just had such a different flavor. It was borrowing from like, I don't know. It kind of felt like a TV thing smashed all together, like a bunch of episodes of a thing, and like.
I definitely understand that. Can we talk about?
I'm a little foggy on what Light's lesson was. Besides, don't kill people.
Sure.
Don't do it.
Oh, that was going to be my point. Where they kind of, whereas that's the main theme. What he's saying there about would Kira let this guy walk away if he killed 400 people. And that's what Eric's point of it kind of floundering on the themes of the thing. Whereas, is the theme that habeas corpus is important, or is the theme that we're having a fun action adventure? Does it matter almost? Because the idea of a fair trial is introduced at the very beginning, where he says, like, I can't make this guy had his wife killed. Yeah. And he's like, I still need to follow the rules. It's how society operates.
Do you know where I knew that it was? And I was kind of disappointed in this, honestly, when he kills the guy. He kills the guy that killed his mom.
Yes.
And then his dad gets off the phone and is like, oh, yeehaw! Thank God that fucker's dead. I was so expecting that Light thought he was doing the right thing by killing that guy, and his dad was gonna be angry and was gonna be like, so fucking what's his, he's free. How's that? That's not justice. He just got away. Like, he got off easy, if you ask me. Like, I thought that was where it was going.
I see that.
And then it kind of just, it was sort of like, oh no, okay, right. So bad people suck, and let's cheer when they're dead.
But I think it's important that he says that, because that's the validation Light needs to keep going.
Exactly. It has a different point at that point in the story that is serving a different.
And the difference is that where the key line there is where he says, oh, karma's a bitch. And if karma is a bitch, that's great. Then that means there's justice in the world. But if there's a guy who's doing it, that makes it like a bittersweet kind of gross thing that just happened. That's murder.
Yes. And I almost wish they got deeper into that discussion, or at least finished it later. Yeah. The thing of, would Kira forgive that person?
They kind of just raised the question of the whole concept of like the ethical, moral problem of the Death Note. They never quite, I guess they don't really resolve it. The movie does just kind of end.
Do you think they could have done that at the very end in that hospital scene?
Yeah, and have a scene where his father rebukes him.
That was the strongest. I think that was the strongest scene in the movie, because that last 10, 15 minutes or so of explaining what kind of just happened in this whole action sequence, that felt the most Death Note to me. Sure. That felt most decisively American adaptation of Death Note.
I agree.
Yeah, I like, because he was like
he controlled the whole thing.
Yeah, he's like, and then when she falls off the thing, also, he lands and he's perfectly fine. He doesn't break anything. He gets out. He gets a blowjob. He has a new girlfriend now.
$100,000. He learns to juggle.
Learns to juggle. Is noticed for his talent.
Yeah. I liked the rules. There weren't as many rules in the manga, I don't think. That's something they kind of added to the movie, where there's like a ton of rules.
They added the page burning.
The page, that's pretty cool.
That's also where, I mean, him kind of saying, well, first of all, but that's also frustrating, because then they break their own rules. First, Watari, how does he know Watari's last name? He just writes Watari on the sheet, knows his name, and then kills him. It's like, oh, you just broke the rules. And the thing where he says, that can only happen once. You can only burn one name. I think that's a lie. I think that was real lying to fuck with them, because it doesn't say that in the rules. I don't think it's never clarified.
That would have been if that
was the reveal where he's like, you killed your girlfriend for no reason, you fucking idiot, because I'm having fun.
You just lied to you.
I feel, and
I
that's
can say whatever I want.
The rules are in the book. You just listen to me instead of reading.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that.
All right, and that's why you always read the fine print.
That would have been. I also really liked. Every gag made me laugh.
Just like I think every time it was trying to be funny,
single gag. Yeah. One of my favorites was like any scene with Watari was great, where he says, "My name is Watari," and he hands him the business card. It's just Watari. He kind of looks at him cockeyed, and they go. Or when he's where he's talking to Ellie, he's like, "This whole place is," and as he raises his hand, he gets an ice cream cone put in it, and he just kind of like looks around. That is so fucking funny.
Well, that's the thing. That was from the anime, and that's a great shot, and that's a funny moment in the anime, but that's like that indecisiveness to me. Like, you're keeping that. I mean, that's a fun shot to have, but you're keeping that in and getting rid of.
No, because it works as a good offbeat moment where it's just like, these two are fucking weird. Like, this dude has his sideburns and like a long mohawk.
I do see what you're saying, though. Is I kind of, now thinking about it, I wish that it had maybe borrowed less, and it had gone off the rails and was like, who says it needs to be this Light and this L thing, and if L's in it, maybe like use them in a really weird way or something. I don't know, but again, this is me at the end of this movie. There was parts, I will say, I've gotten into criticisms I didn't even have when I was watching it, as we were just talking right now. But one of the things that did stick out to me was that there was certainly a fair amount of like cringe things, like teenagers. Cringy thing, and I think
most
some
of their
it was
relationship was It's their relationship. If you really look at it, it's very cynically done. Nick made a point earlier about it kind of being a little more cynical than earnest, but at the same time, it's also like I don't really want to watch this teen romance bullshit part of this movie.
But that's there was something I liked about the difference of the kind of teen romance that was, and in these little fucking scuzzballs falling for each other and wanting
they
to, like,
never really gave Mia a reason to be kind of a piece of shit, right?
Well, she's just like she's a power hungry fucking woman, and she's the only principal character who dies.
But like Mies, the character she's based on in Death Note, her whole thing is she's sort of under Kira's spell because Kira kind of saved her life in a way, and saved her parents' life, or I vaguely remember.
Well, I think
or something like that, and there was like that motivation for her to become this beautiful death goddess, whatever.
Absolutely, but like
parallel.
She wants to be in the manga. She wants to be like his bride. She wants to be his assistant.
Yes.
In this, it's very clear she wants that power for herself because she's not interested in him very much. Like she kind of talks with him, and then until he shows her the power, and then she starts hooking up with him and like being all over him because the whole time that's all she's wanted.
And I remember at the very beginning, a person knocks him out. She sees him, and she tells the principal that he walked into a pole.
Right.
Why do you want? What motivation do you? They didn't bring that up.
See, but that to me was a thing I didn't need explained, other than that's kind of how she is, and they sort of they say, okay, is that who this person is? She's a little fucked in the head, and she's kind of scary, and you're almost instantly like, oh, she's more fucked up than he is, and this is a bad person to involve in such a thing.
It's like, is there no proof that there are these people who are killers? She's like, well, there's people who need help, and we need to help them, and it's like, I guess that is the point of the movie, and you delivered that line not fucking crazy, but when you really look at that in context, she's a fucking nut. And she's the driving force pretty much the whole movie.
And I can see why people are annoyed at that again, as like for Light, like you being. So why the fuck is his name Light? I'm sorry. Like I just it again. What? Because that makes me frustrated for the reasons I like it. That these are the things that are working against people being able to step over.
Don't make it Light Turner. Make it Louis Yagami.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, that is the point of. I don't think that this is a super whitewashed thing, and obviously they did their own thing of the adaptation, but calling your character Light Turner is the ultimate, like, we're going to take an anime character and make him westernized. Like, this is Akira Johnson. He's 22 years old, and he lives in Neo, Oklahoma City.
Clearly who this is for is a little bit of that young adult crowd who's also, though, starting to watch, fucking House of Cards or whatever,
Sure, this is for the 13 Reasons Why crowd.
Yes,
this is for the Dark Mirror crowd.
This is totally allowed in a way.
It's Netflix, for God's sake. That's probably why they bought the fucking thing.
But this again begs the question of why was the Dark Tower made into a long pilot for an okay TV show instead of a thing that because people love it, so who you're like alienating the people are the core audience who are going to show up, but then meanwhile when they're watching this definitely you're watching it and you're like, oh, this wasn't made for hardcore, like,
absolutely not,
Death Note people. But then my question is again, then why'd you do this?
It's a fucking
Because who were the people
It's a good premise. It's a good premise.
Are there enough, and this was the thing I'd love to see like a number on, are there enough people that they've somehow theorized hear Death Note and they know Death Note's a thing, and they know Death Note's a popular thing, and they know that they've seen images on Tumblr or whatever the fuck, and they're like, oh, I'll watch this Death Note adaptation, and then they're not offended by everything they've changed. Right. Are there enough of those people out in the world that like it made sense to do that?
Yeah, I would think that people that tangentially know a thing far outweigh people that actually know a thing.
But does this tangential knowing ensure a click? Because then you put
welcome to fucking marketing, dude, where nothing is known. There's no true information.
So you're going for the young adult people, but like,
How did this and Ghost in the Shell happen before Sailor Moon happened?
That's very true.
Damn.
Do you know how fucking pissed people would be if Sailor Moon was white? Well, I mean, she's a blonde hair, blue eyes, so she probably should be.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. Let's not kind of beat around the bush.
Maybe post Captain Marvel, they'll be like, oh, okay.
Sure. Yeah, man.
It's gonna happen.
I'm excited for the next 5 years. Like,
You're gonna get. It's gonna be it's gonna happen. It's gonna be a very Burger King Kids Club diverse Sailor Scouts.
One of them is in a wheelchair. It's gonna look like a poster in a high school library of like best friends.
Exactly.
Did you see today the guy? Oh shit! He's playing someone in Hellboy who I didn't even know this character. I don't know Hellboy.
Yeah, Ed
stuff,
Screen's character.
Right, he did the thing. He decided.
Stepped down.
I'm not going to do this.
He pulled a theoretical Finn Jones of like, hey, maybe I should not do this.
Were we just talking about this on the podcast, or was this just in our real life? Because I don't remember.
It was in our real
anymore.
life.
Okay,
This happened today.
Yes.
Yeah. In our real life podcast, we were talking about like.
Life is a podcast.
Do you think? Wait a minute, Tom. Do you think that the word podcast just means a conversation?
Yeah, what do you think it means?
I think it's like a recorded event. Like, why do you think that there's a microphone in front of you? Oh, I thought this was robot dick.
I just thought we did. I just thought this was a thing you like. It just makes you feel all right. Like,
Okay.
but we were talking about with Finn Jones or whatever with Iron Fist that it's understandable when he was asked, "Do you want to be in the Marvel universe on this thing on a cool team where you're punching around with Daredevil?" He would go, yeah, instead of like, but maybe.
What do the POCs think?
But now you're seeing someone have like in the face of that reaction be like, you know what, you're right. Maybe we should, maybe I need to just step away. Maybe that's the action it takes for them to actually do it.
Well, I mean,
everyone's asking for
what
it.
It took was watching two people's careers thrown into like tumultuity. He's like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should just not fuck around.
It's just, to me, I think that it's honestly, good on them. And I mean that in a very genuine way, because I do think that opens the flood. Because like this one makes objectively a little more sense in that the character was like in the comics he was Asian, right? He was just, that's what he is.
No, I don't think so. I think actually what it was like they think that he probably should be Asian, kind of like Danny Rand's character.
No, I'm pretty sure he's Asian in the
I don't know
comic.
like anything about the comic book,
sure,
so
that's why I'm saying this is more of a direct like, I didn't, because he says in his statement he didn't know that it was an Asian character or half Asian character, and that kind of changed his mind on it. Whereas I understand like the Finn Jones thing, at the time we talked about it, that it was a little bit frustrating. And it's funny because I wish I had heard someone say it in the way you just said it, where it was like this idea of the white guy ends up with the kung fu masters in wherever, Tibet or whatever it is, and he but isn't it like
what are we talking about?
And then of course that's weird. He's the best guy.
Right.
Tarzan ends up in the jungle and becomes the best animal.
All right,
because he's a white dude.
Yes, well, the white man is the greatest apex predator.
Right. And I understand like that. I understand more of like, oh right, that's a little fucking annoying. Like that's kind of creepy there. Like that doesn't feel good anymore.
It's about 120 years out of vogue.
That's like kind of gross. But at the time, all I was seeing was like, wait, people are mad because it wasn't a thing that they thought was better.
Yeah.
Like, and this is the same thing with now Death Note, where I was like, wait, people are upset just because it's like not as close as they wanted it to be to a thing, or they didn't do it this way or they didn't do it that way, and that stuff kind of historically bothers me because it's going to be how they did it, and then that's you got to taste the pie they put in front of you and not hope for the one in the oven.
Did you just make that phrase up?
I think I might have.
Hey everybody, let's get it trending. Taste the pie, put it in the oven.
Taste hashtag eat pie. Do not think about later pie. And I feel like at this point, Ed Screen is just most famous for walking away from shit. Do you remember when Dario Naharis was suddenly a different person in season 4? He was Dario in season 3.
Oh,
yeah,
weird.
And he's just like, I don't want to do Thrones anymore. I don't like this.
Is that what he sounds like?
I don't know. I don't know what he sounds like. I think he's a rapper or some shit. He's a guy.
But yeah,
Thrones fucking sucks right now, man.
Are we gonna go on Thrones?
No, we'll do a Thrones exclusive podcast for bonus this month.
Yeah, we should, man. Mm-hmm. It's a good time to do it because now we got fucking 2 years and whatever.
Wait, it's 2 years?
That's what I keep hearing. That's what I keep hearing. Is that not true?
So incorrect.
Oh shit! I've just heard that from now 2 separate people who weren't the same person.
Okay.
Just to clarify what 2 separate people means, that means that they're not this.
They're filming it in October.
Oh, all right. Well, fuck me then. Mm-hmm. Well, no, fuck those guys. I believe them.
No, fuck everyone else.
I mean, it certainly wasn't me. I think we can all agree. If there's one thing to agree on here, it's that it wasn't me. I'm not wrong.
Was me.
Is my banging on the sofa?
Wasn't me.
You're doing that at karaoke the other night.
Was I?
We were.
Oh, I missed that.
Yes, you did.
I missed the karaoke.
I wanted that
I was
was
hanging. My girlfriend is in from Philadelphia. So
well, I was doing that too. That's fine. I was just exerting my power, my newfound power, and making you feel shame.
Crawled through
On
my
a
bedroom
podcast.
window.
It's fine.
Was it me? Had scales. Was it me?
That's my Shaggy. Guys, what the fuck is happening in this episode?
It was not a fun one.
I had fun.
No, I had a sure fun.
All right, let's get back into it. Let's try and get our
But
thoughts.
so yeah, this young adult thing again. I don't. If the mission statement of are they like where we need something that's a little bit of like an edgy sort of young adult thing, and it's like rated R, but we know we're making it again for the 13 Reasons Why crowd. What fucking fun wheel landed on Death Note? That did you kind of? But I mean, who knows? These are the questions I would love to ask the people who are the conglomerate making these decisions, because it's like, was this that they were?
I think it's been. I think a big thing about it is that it was popular 10 years ago, and it's been very inactive. Recently, so it might have been easier to scoop
Might have been
up.
cheap. I also think that this script, so the guys that wrote The Immortals, you remember that movie from 2011? Just like kind of a dumbass action movie about Greek gods.
So yes.
I think that those 2 brothers wrote this script. It's been kicking around for like 4 years. They probably got a meeting with Netflix, sold the script, and then they kind of just let it happen.
It does weirdly read, now that I'm thinking about it, it reads like someone deciding to take a stab at Death
That's
Note.
100% what it is. And that's what everyone involved in this project is doing. And it works out fine.
Dude, and that's again,
Hollywood.
I know we're more on the beef side here, but like, watch it. Like, if you're on the fence, dude, go see it. Do you like movies that are just, it's just this teen dark comedy thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fucking
It's
weird.
definitely a horror, but it's funny. It's like got like a very wry sense of humor
and it's
to
quick,
it.
man. It moves.
Yeah, it's fun. It's 140
You're
minutes.
in and out. It doesn't really fit.
An hour, 40
It's
minutes.
not asking a lot of you, which is again potentially a disappointment. But like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, 100 minutes movie.
Jump on in.
Kick your ass out. Whatever. You have any other thoughts? Anything else you want to touch on?
I think I got to most of the stuff.
I didn't like that Elle was black.
Let's bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring him in.
I mean, it's the elephant in the room, right?
Let's switch it out.
Elephant.
Let's switch it out. Let's bring him in. Let's bring him in. You call.
You know him. You love him.
That's his summoning.
No,
You just summoned him.
Lakeith Stanfield was good in this movie. I really like him as an actor. I know
was he?
He was Elle. So I know that he.
Yeah, dude.
I know.
I liked everyone.
Just like anytime the camera is on him, the way he moves, he's just got so much fucking like, he's gooey. He's like wiggly. He's just got all this cool rhythm to him. He should, he smokes jazz cigarettes behind the club.
Yeah, I love that part.
No, he's like he's just such a fine actor, and I know he's petitioning to play the Joker because apparently Jared Leto isn't playing the Joker anymore.
No, here's where you've gotten this wrong. This Joker movie ain't got nothing to do with fuck all, as they're now deciding is the new WBDC mission statement.
There's 2 Joker movies, right?
Yes, Joker and Harley Quinn, which is gonna be Jared
The
Leto.
Jokler. That's the joke.
Hey, Pop!
He. I'm the Jokler.
Dad, keep an eye on the baby. I'm going out to see that Jokler.
I can't deal with. I don't know if I could deal with another year and a half of hearing about him method acting.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry, your point. So there's the Jokler and Harlequins.
Okay,
The Joker and Harlequin, and also this prequel one with friggin' Scorsese
Yes.
producing.
I'm sorry, what?
Producing.
Yeah.
Martin Scorsese is producing it?
Executive producing.
Okay, well, who's directing it?
I don't
know?
I don't know yet, but
Any name?
I forget who wrote it too. People are upset about all sorts of shit.
Okay.
Again, these are things that conceptually I don't really care. It's just more all of my bafflement. Is that a word?
Sure.
All of my bafflement comes from what are, again, at the top of the line here, the people who are deciding where this all goes, where the DC movies go, who was like, you know what, what if we did remember how we were really upset and we wanted to catch up to all those other things? What if we just didn't anymore?
Yeah. Dude, but honestly though, that's a pretty bold and intelligent strategy.
But then
it's confusing. The messaging is super confusing, but it's like maybe we shouldn't try to like fucking jam all this shit into a cinematic universe and like have the second best superhero cinematic universe.
If anything, if that movie ends up actually being just like this weirdly good, bizarre Joker origin movie, then fucking right on. It's just it is only confusing as all it is.
Yeah.
You're just sort of like, oh, interesting choice.
Doesn't it almost make you think that maybe they're done after Justice League?
No, I don't think so.
Like, honestly, maybe they might just like wrap it in.
They said with even this Batman one, it got kind of blown out of proportion where the rumor was Matt Reeves. It wasn't part of the DC extended universe, but it is. It was just like the way he worded it. He kind of worded it a little foolishly.
Sure.
Because it didn't, like, and then there was the backlash of the people who were like, wow, you really blew that out of proportion just for clickbait. But it was like, no, he kind of said it's not connected to the stuff. But more what he just meant was that it's not going to have responsibilities to the Justice League.
We're not going to see Killer Croc like buying a beignet in the background, just like, wonderful.
But honestly, man, that's the shit where I wish they would check themselves and remind each other of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because if you just all of a sudden saw Killer Croc in the serious Matt Reeves Batman movie, you'd be like, oh yeah, right. They're painting with a mighty wide brush.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, I don't know. That's besides the point. I don't care what anyone does. Just make the movies good. I'm showing up.
Sure. I mean, yeah, every movie is like it's a 2-hour window into one story, right? Despite what it's connected to, despite whatever cinematic universe it's a part of, you're looking into a story, and if it's a good story, it's a good story. It's a good movie. You're gonna have fun.
Speaking of cinematic universes, how does everybody in the room feel about the Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe coming out?
Is that happening?
I thought we already did this with I'm thinking. No, there's a Yogi Bear movie. Okay,
No,
is that the start?
Nope.
What are they starting with? Flintstones?
Next year, S.C.O.O.B. S.C.O.O.B. Yes, that is the name abbreviated. It starts. I want it.
Wake me up in 2 decades when we're doing an Al Kabong movie. Then I'll come back on board with Hanna-Barbera. I need a Jabberjaw film stat.
I got a gorilla for Sam. I get a gorilla for Sam.
It's Jabberjaw.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, but that is an interesting thing that I would actually kind of like to touch on.
Are they live action? Or?
How fucking dare you? Or like, what if this is the one that burst the bubble, right? This is the one that burst the cinematic universe bubble.
The Hanna-Barbera movies.
Because here's the dark secret about Hanna-Barbera. It sucked the first time. They're almost universally bad television shows. It's like, it's the standard for poor animation, Hanna-Barbera. That's what people always turn to. The Flintstones walking down the street and seeing the same 3 houses repeating behind them in a circle. Like these are tropes and jokes that we make fun of in animation, and they all started in these shitty fucking low-rent 60s cartoons that we love for whatever reason.
There's something in their heart that for some reason, why has Scooby and why are those characters like...
Because it was on TV, it shot in your fucking face all the time when you were 7 years old. Of course you're gonna like it. You shoot whatever stupid garbage in kids' faces and they like it. I put string cheese I put canned cheese in my son's face all the time. He loves it. He says, more, Dad, more cheese. I give it to him. He loves it.
I feel bad when people. I feel bad when people shit on Great Gazoo, because when I was looking that up, I found out that character was written by, I believe, the first woman to ever write for an animated show, and maybe the third woman overall to write for a TV show.
It's like they set her up. Where she's like some ditzy woman off the street. Like, what if there was a green alien from the future? And he's like, let's get this broad on. Broads will never work at television again if we get this lady in here.
Like a producer's moment again.
Yeah. That is truly an insane thing. Like, here's the sitcom about the modern Stone Age family. Yeah, what if they had like Mr. Mixelplix? I'm sorry, what? Yeah, he's like a villain from Superman. What if he was like his best friend? Yeah, all right.
That sounds fucking sweet. Didn't they establish at one point in that universe that the Jetsons were just like up?
Now that's like I think
above
that's a
them or
gag in
whatever?
Harvey Birdman.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Isn't that funny? That's how my brain digested that. It
Yeah.
made it real.
there's so much of that. Just
I don't know, man. I hope S.C.O.O.B is like a fucking wicked hard
I want to
R
look up
slasher.
S.C.O.O.B. I want to look up S.C.O.O.B to see what the status is, because I remember seeing that when I remember reading there was a Cracked article about a year or so ago about how 2018 is going to be just such a giant blockbuster bubble.
Sure.
Where there's so much stuff back to back to back that there's no room for all of these movies to make the money.
Sure.
Because everything's coming out so soon.
to make the money.
Yeah,
the concept
but I
of
think
the money.
since that article's come out, some studios have pushed stuff back.
Yeah. Oh, I can't
But
believe you still read
S.C.O.O.B
Cracked.
was one of them.
I can't believe you still read Cracked
I
within the
don't.
last year.
That was just such an. That was just such a.
You know what threw me off Cracked? I think in 2015, I saw a listicle that said the 17 real realities of male rape in the United States Army. And I'm like, this is a comedy website. I want to know about like the 6 times that Fred Flintstone advertised Marlboro cigarettes. Like, I don't care. I mean, I do care. I'm very empathetic, but that's not what I'm here at cracked.com for. Whatever. Comedy website, cracked.com.
Dude, that silence you just heard from me was my brain running through how many different examples of that can I, like, what's funny. I was like hovering in on, that's like walking into Starbucks and I really was trying big time.
Yeah.
All right. It's not called S.C.O.O.B anymore. It's called Untitled Scooby-Doo Movie. And it's now,
That's pretty good.
And it's now in 2020, not 2018.
Oh my God. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's getting.
That'll probably get canceled.
Okay.
Zoinks.
Zoinks.
You know what would be fun? You know what would be a fun episode of Reasonable Beef? I think we should look at a list of slated upcoming movies of like big name franchises and predict which ones will never happen. Which ones will eventually just kind of fade away. S.C.O.O.B. My bet is on S.C.O.O.B. Okay, we'll wrap this. Bring it to a close.
Death
All right.
Note.
Death Note.
Desu Noto. Noto. No.
All right, we're gonna end this on. I mean, we feel like we've already touched our final thoughts. We'll just jump into Three-Headed Critic and get the hell out of here. How's that sound, everybody? Okay, sound great. You ever played this game? This is the Three-Headed Critic. This is the whose line is it anyway? Basically, the three-headed talker. You say one word, he says one word, I say one word. We go in a circle until it's a coherent thought about the film Death Note.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay. Go. Light.
Had
A
Funny.
way.
of
Screaming.
So
I
Did.
my
best
Trying.
to
enjoy
This.
screaming. Light had a funny way.
I saw where I was going.
Light had a funny way of screaming.
And so
I did my best at trying to enjoy this screaming.
this sounds like a Russian dude. Like, he had this screaming. I tried my best to enjoy this screaming, but I could not. It was very annoying. No stars.
Oh man.
It's been Russia Today's movie reviews. Hey everybody, this is Reasonable Beef. Thank you so much. If you, for whatever reason, like this, please go to www.patrun.com/reasonable beef. Give what you can. $5 gives you access to bonus beef, which is our monthly Odds and Ends podcast. Which I think, what did we say we were gonna do? We said we were gonna
Thrones.
Yeah, dude, Thrones talk this month. It'll be fucking tight. Thank you so much, Eric Degliomini, for being on the podcast. VMA award winner Eric Degliomini.
Congrats again, by the way.
Thank you.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Dude, congrats on the win. Do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, I would like to plug my Twitter and Instagrams at Gargamelch, and you can look me up at my editing reel at ericdegliomini.com, Eric DEGLIOMINI.com. Got my editing reel on there. Got a resume.
Listening to a voicemail.
Got an email. and if you're looking for an editor, or if you just want to say hi, if you liked the Young Thug video and you wanted to say hi, or
What's the video, by the way?
the video is Wyclef Jean by Young Thug. Wyclef Jean by Young Thug. Very fun, very meta music video.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Big
Very
thug,
fun.
big
A lot
guy.
of fun.
Handsome.
A lot of fun times.
Good
Very
thug.
and I'll plug the last video. I just recently cut I did some graphics for a music video for a really cool rapper named Cult.
I edited this. I direct. This is my thing.
Okay,
I'm sorry, who is it?
I did some motion graphics for a rapper called Cult Days. The music video is called Looney.
Cool. Looney Goon.
Sick.
Big Game High School. Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
No problem.